Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host of L2 Productions, and you are watching I Watch and Watch. We are covering Married to Medicine. This is season 12. I think it's episode 6. I done lost count already. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, share it. You can also subscribe if you are new to this channel. Welcome aboard, and you can leave your comments below. Now, let's get into this week's episode. Well, it was quite an interesting show. It looks like there's a divide. Well, we start off this episode with Angel. Angel has invited people to her home. That includes Mimi, Angel, and Quad. And I think Dr. Heavenly was there too. She lives in Fairborn. Dr. Heavenly made jokes about Fairborn. But then I found out it was just 20 miles south of Atlanta, and they're still within Fulton County. I mean, that can't be anything different. Maybe a little bit less time going to Sandy Springs. That's where a lot of the folks live. I think that's where Kenya, Marlo, Contessa, all them live. I don't know exactly where Dr. Heavenly lives, but anyways. It's since it said it was just like 20 miles away, what is it, a mile a minute, even though I heard about Atlanta traffic, so I don't know. Anyway, Heavenly and the rest just started speaking about Quad and trying to be positive by speaking, okay, there's a baby up in there and all that stuff, but since Quad knows that the eggs didn't take, she's not ready to tell the ladies about the baby as of yet. I understand that. If you saw the mid-season trailer, she goes into how she actually feels about it as far as the struggle of getting or having this baby. They talk about Heavenly's brother, but we switch off because I don't know who was throwing the event or get together, but Brandy, Toya, Contessa, and Simone are in their own group. Toya caught Contessa up on some of the things that were happening at the family reunion since she wasn't there because of her daughter was in a beauty pageant. About the brother, so did they have a DNA test? Heavenly said no, and she also said that when she was with Mr. Carlos King on last week's review or recap. She says that she doesn't need it. She believes him because of all the details that he was able to give her. He don't want nothing from her, and she don't need nothing from him. And they just converse. He lives outside of the country, I think it is. Yeah, he lives outside of the country, so it's not a thing of a money issue or needing this and da 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 da. They're just naturally coming together as brother and sister. Now, something else that Dr. Heavenly did mention. I'm sorry, I'm getting off of the review of the show, but of course, people are like, well, why aren't she getting along with her sister? Why ain't she on the show? We already know that her and Dr. Heavenly does not get along. So, however, Dr. Heavenly did let us know one of her mother's dying wishes is for Dr. Heavenly to take care of her. Take care of your sister. She does. There's a house that Dr. Heavenly owns that the sister lives in. And she said that she pays the mortgage and all that. They don't get along, and the sister actually lives in Georgia. I said, wow. I don't know if I could do that. Just to let you know, I don't know. I have to be in that circumstance. I could tell you the story personally, but I'll probably get into that on another day. But I was like, wow, blown away. But she decided to honor her mom and making sure that her sister is okay. Hopefully the sister isn't being disrespectful and Dr. Heavenly is still taking care of her. Maybe you stay over there and I stay over here. Maybe that's how the relationship is. And none of this type of normal back and forth petty family stuff going on. Hopefully it's that. Anyways, off of that, Heavenly's going to be launching her campaign. Then they get on Angel talking about Toya and how she treated her while she brought her male friend Bernard. And we know last week Toya ended up breaking girl code by blowing up her spot, trying to say, well, you was trying to have me hook you up with someone and you got someone. I mean, they're not one, Toya. They already explained to you that they're not together. They're kind of working things out here and there. However, Angel is still single and not attached, even though she's still talking to her old boyfriend. And anyways, it's none of your business. And there's other ways that you could have confronted that. So Toya ended up saying what about the whole Angel thing on her side, and Contessa was like, "You did that in front of the man," and then Toya going to say that I was going to hook you up with family. Angel, don't play with me. And we get the flashback of when Angel asked and about could you hook me up with someone that Eugene knows. We didn't know it was family or what. So that's just so crazy. You could get more clarification on the side. You didn't have to do all of that. It's more than tacky. It's quite low down. All I know is I know how to be petty back. And the best thing for you, Toya, don't tell me nothing personal, because I'm going to make sure I get you back. And you actually are standing on that you think that you are right in this whole situation. She asked you to hook her up with someone that you didn't even follow up to. Because according to production, that was 3 weeks ago from when you saw her at the reunion. So what's up? So stop it. But you lack accountability. You're just a gutter snipe. That's what you do. That's all you can say about others on the show. But I'm pointing you out right now. Yeah. They on the other side of town, Fairburn or Fairbarn, they talk about Simone. I'll say something a little bit later about that, but they're just talking about Simone looking up information. We'll get into that. Contessa announces that there's going to be a girls trip, and hopefully we can rectify everything. Da 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 da. Okay. They talked about, I don't know if it was there or a little bit later, like, you want to have another a girls trip? You know, the last one you was ready to square up, blah 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 blah. And then we go back to the flashback of Heavenly talking about Contessa's mama. Square up, ho. That's what she said. But she said, yeah. Okay. Next stop, we're going to talk about Heavenly's campaign launch. It is within a parking lot. Obviously, this is in the beginning stages of everything with Heavenly, and I don't think that she has everything down to the T as far as what she needs to do and all that good stuff. So, I don't know. I think that Heavenly, the reality star, can have some difficulties in her launch out into doing stuff in politics. People aren't going to take you seriously, especially if you have been a certain type of person on the show. And if they hone in on just all of the flamboyance of your character, people aren't going to take you seriously. Quad's going to be her campaign manager. And Contessa said something a little bit later, like, I hope you are serious about this. Like, should you? And for me, I don't see anything wrong. And if y'all just think that, like, I think you would have to take yourself out of the show. Now, me, from where I stand from, would I be the one that be like, But Contessa, you're right up front, so you don't really take Quad serious about nothing. She's not a business person or anything. It's just, I just want to know your perspective on how you think that Quad is, for you to even state that, as far as you not thinking that Heavenly's taking it serious because she got Quad as a campaign manager. Quad has degrees. Just saying. It's in a parking lot. It's got the Georgia heat. And it looks like Heavenly was frustrated because people weren't really gathering up front. I don't know what the issue was, but the sun was out and it's blaring on people. Maybe that's what their reluctance was, Heavenly. So I think it a little bit that you're going to have to really examine what you've done in your first launch in all of this. You did have them in the parking lot. The heat was there. The sun was right in their faces. You saw so many people putting up barriers on their faces. However, while Heavenly is doing her speech, we're hearing a lot of side commentary by Toya. I don't know what was actually... maybe Heavenly heard it, and maybe she didn't. That's where I'm coming to the conclusion as to why Heavenly started talking about, I think everyone supports me except one. Now, people think that it's poor taste for Heavenly to say that. I think it's hard to try to launch a campaign and try to do it on a show where you still got to keep the drama going. And I think that Heavenly has to somewhat separate that if she's going to be taken seriously. However, Dr. Heavenly did say on Carlos King's platform regarding, I guess, the guy that's been in the seat of Congress for several years, that ain't been doing nothing for her district, finally is taking her at least serious because now they are campaigning against her. So, hey, if someone thought that it was an easy win, they would just sit back and still do nothing. But obviously, Dr. Heavenly is really scorching some heat and putting some fire underneath whomever that congressman is. So, hey. Do I think that Heavenly should have responded? No. No. Do I think Toya should have been making all those remarks there? No. That's just my opinion. I already talked about Contessa. This is after everything was done. Contessa asked, "Are you serious? You have quad here, da 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 da." Brandy, Mimi, and Angel, they meet up together, all together. And at that point, they're just making remarks about this first launch and all that. Mimi asks, "Are you endorsing Heavenly?" She says that I need a little bit more information and more consistency before I would actually think about endorsing. She says that she takes politics seriously. Brandy says that she's seen a circus out of Heavenly and has to be commendable. Oh, she said at least, I think she was saying something about, what was it? About being commendable. I hate when I write down notes. It's so crazy. Sometimes I think I feel better without notes. But she thought it was commendable for Dr. Heavenly launching out, but I got to see something a little bit more than what I already seen. But that's also how Toya's language is. Toya's a little bit more harsher with it, which could, I'm not saying it is, it looks like that you're just leaning towards Toya's side. We're going to get into how Dr. Mimi handles things. Mimi did respect how Brandy was taking the whole situation at if she was going to endorse Dr. Heavenly or not. And because Mimi was hearing stuff that Toya was saying, you know, I thought that you would do what Toya do. So I said, Lord Jesus. And now, I don't want to say another beef, but at least the mess been started between Dr. Mimi and Brandy. Dr. Mimi does feel a way towards Toya. Toya has never even apologized at how she was doing things at her home. Calling Mimi, Dr. Heavenly, and Brandy hater arse itches. And Mimi's going to stay right there. Because you didn't even apologize. You ain't even been accountable for that because you think that everything's right, especially how you were treating your husband. But anyways. Brandy feels like Mimi's trying to say, come join this side. Because now Mimi has said, you know, be careful who you decide to line up with. Because if she's doing this, if Toya's doing all this, she was saying all that, you're going to be grouped in with all of that. All of that's true. I think that they are using Dr. Mimi's credentials to try to act like that she's always psychoanalyzing people. That's not what she said to you, Brandy. That's not psychoanalyzing. But that's stuff that Toya says. So, can people say that you just following up behind Toya? Because Mimi's like, well, she said stuff about you that you had to go and apologize to Toya about. And I think possibly you feel a little bit of needing to have loyalty towards Toya since she brought you on this show. And she does that to people, Anila. If you don't comply, then look, you over there. Just saying. Just saying. I'm going to put that on the table. Do I know for sure, Brandy, you just under Toya's skirt? Gucci shirt, skirt, Prada skirt, whatever. I think that's a purse, but whatever. Are you? Now, on the flip side, Dr. Mimi, because you haven't joined up with Heavenly, people can say that about you too. I'm being fair in this review, just to let you know. I love Dr. Heavenly. I can't just act like Dr. Heavenly ain't just did stuff and said stuff to folk that rub people the wrong way. But a lot of times, Dr. Heavenly is provoked, and sometimes she starts to mess. Is it ever first? At least, is the foundation horrible? No. It leads up and it goes to a place that Heavenly can really, really hit you. But so can Toya. But people just say Toya's just real. And other people say that she's tacky. So. But Brandy, you did apologize to Toya when she said that you were a part of the group and you were hating our stitch. So it was getting a little heated. I think, was it Simone that came by? Yeah. Like, is everything okay? Mimi's trying to explain her side, and Brandy's getting a little buck. And she stands in front of Mimi as Mimi's trying to say what she had to say and trying to cut her off. I said, oh, okay. Brandy, it's cool. I enjoyed the scene, but I wish that you had gotten this buck with Dr. Jackie And I wish you had gotten this buck with Toya, because Toya was able to sun you and get you to apologize. Just saying. But then you decided to do the respectability thing on social media against Dr. Jackie to make it look like that you can go high. If you Michelle Obama with Dr. Jackie, you could be Michelle Obama with Mimi. I'm just saying that there's a difference as far as whatever you think is shade coming at you and how you react. Putting that on the table. Next up, Simone and Jackie. Of course, we've already heard that Simone wants to slow down. At this point, she is ready to stop delivering babies. She basically wants to just be a GYN, which I believe that would be a gynecologist. Still wants to be within the orbit of female stuff going on in the doctor world, in the science world. But she's tired, and I'm sure that that's quite stressful. They start talking about her and Cecil's relationship. Like, of course, we know that things are just getting worse in how Simone feels, and how he does not support her. She's like, look, and I'm glad that they had a deeper conversation as to what's really going on with the relationship. Simone and Jackie do have that type of bond or whatever. You know, she said, you know, the sex is still good. How about you, Kimmy, on Love and Marriage Huntsville? If y'all don't watch it, check out the last episode or my review. She says that, you know, I still get an orgasm, but it takes a little bit longer to get there. I said, oh. He's not feeding me emotionally, and he's stubborn. And she said, you know, I'm entering into my golden years, and I don't want to be miserable. Jackie says, well, it looks like you're headed towards divorce. And Simone said, is that the worst thing possible? I'm not for, how could I say this? I don't celebrate divorce. Is it happening a whole lot more? Yes. I think with many, I think that people are coming up out of that whole sanction of for better or for worse type of situation where you just enduring whatever. I think some people know that they were now realizing that they were unequally yoked, or for whatever reason, you hooked up with this person, and now this person I don't really want to be with, and I should not have been with. That's the thing I'm getting from people, you know. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I know how I was raised, but I think that people who stay in these marriages still bragging on it 30, 40 years, and then we know that you guys live separately or separate lives. You let, especially in the olden days, y'all so proud of your grandmas and granddaddies for staying together, but he has a whole family on the other side of town. And I think people are waking up from that type of movement. If it's not working, it's not working. Again, I don't have no easy solution, but I don't think that you should live somewhere miserable. If both of you are not willing to work on the marriage, get out of it. If it's not serving you, get out of it. That's all I can really say. That's all I can really say. But now that the children are out of the house, now you have to put the focus back on you guys. And that's a hard thing for a lot of marriages to go through, because a lot of things I think that when you get to the parent stage of a marriage, your focus isn't really on the marriage so much. You have to put a lot of attention into the children that you've brought in, or child or children that you've brought into the world. And you just kind of move and move and move and move and move. And you just forget about the marriage. It's put on the back burner. And now you're forced to deal with it because the children are out of the house and you don't have to focus as much on them. And you just found out that you two are lost as far as the union that you guys have have made and committed to each other. Hopefully I made sense on that. Anyways, the next situation or scene, Angel, she has an event. I guess her whole company is called Angels on Earth, specifically for the product that she's launching out is Life Angels. It's a scrub uniforms. I thought when there was a promotion some months ago that this was a Dr. Jackie situation with the uniforms, unless Dr. Jackie has something different from even what Angel's doing, but it looked like she was headlining it. Anyways, this is for scrub uniforms. Back in the day for doctors, it was kind of more of a one-size-fits-all type of situation with uniforms, but now they're getting a little bit more customized, where you can kind of look fab while in your scrubs. Have a more comfortable fit with it. and all of that good stuff. So I think it's a great idea. I'm not in that league or whatever, but do you, Angel, and get your coin. Everyone arrives. Well, some people, but other people are very late. By the time Dr. Heavenly gets there, Simone, who wants to be messy, even though y'all not gonna call her messy, wants to bring up what Toya has done because she was taking notes and still having her loud remarks. Or I guess it was loud, but I'm gonna find out the real juice and tea when Dr. Heavenly gets on Carlos's platform today, as to why Dr. Heavenly was out there like that. Anyways, Simone was like, we kind of want to just talk about what happened at your launch campaign situation. Toya gave me her notes at things that you could work on. Dr. Heavenly is not for it, and she sits down. And she said, well, look, you're going to have to stand for this. And she said, I'm not standing for that. Like, I know I'm going to stand for the people. Basically, their angle, while being shady, is to prepare Heavenly for the negativity. Could two things be true at the same time? Yep. Do I just think it was messy and to be shady? Yeah. There's other ways to have that type of conversation. As far as how Heavenly presents herself in the political realm. If you can't take Toya, you can't take Simone or anyone coming at you being critical, you won't last. And I want to say, I'm going to say in good faith, I think that Dr. Heavenly can take it. Is she going to take it from these folk on the show? Probably not. And she's just going to say deuces or whatever. I don't know. But again, do I think that there's truth in it? Yes. Do I think that Simone had good intentions? No. She followed up behind her buddy. And why didn't Toya just say that? Because you know that her and Toya are on the outs, but you still use Toya in that scenario. So guess what? Dr. Heavenly is not going to be receptive. I think it was kind of Operation Fail, Simone. But anyways. Toya gonna say in her confessional that it's tacky of Dr. Heavenly to point out who is not supporting you. But didn't you just do that at your own house thing that you had going on? Didn't you just try to, you did. You kicked out people that weren't in support of you while you made a fool out of yourself? Next, they bring up what Mimi was telling Brandy. Now, Brandy was just sitting over to the side. She ain't had nothing to say. Or at least her mic wasn't loud. Now it's time for Toya to buck up. Mimi is around the crew of Contessa, Brandy, Toya, and Simone. Simone brings up, like, you sure you really want to be around this? Da, 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 da. I didn't even understand why it was a divide all of a sudden. Really, Toya and Mimi haven't even had a talk yet in regards to all this. So it's a little bit weird that there's a divide that nobody's really come together to really say anything about. Mimi explained her side as to what's going on. And then Toya said the same thing that Brandy was saying about her psychoanalyzing her. Ain't nobody psychoanalyzing her. I would say that. I don't have no type of degree. I haven't studied one thing about psychology. So Toya was like, go back to your crew. I don't think that that's cool. And whatever. You're not our type. Y'all all are on a show together. Doctors and wives. You are not our type. I don't think that was cool, Toya. Contessa then announces that I missed the family reunion. It's the girls, and then she mentions the girls trip. Blah, 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 blah. Then Angel says, Toya, well, we're going to have a talk because I need to figure out what kind of a friend are you? And then Toya says, Simone, what kind of friend am I? And Simone says that she's loyal. Da, 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 da. Well, then that's not what she did to Angel. Then Angel said, we can talk about it later. And Toya was like, well, why did you bring it up? I would have to say that I'm in agreement with that because that could be considered passive aggressive. Like how you do with, is it hopscotch? That jump rope where you give a little shoulder and take it right back. No, go on and say what you need to say, Angel. So Toya made a point there. No, go on and say what you need to say. But then Toya saying that, oh, you're making something out of nothing. Ma'am, you just said in front of Contessa, don't play with me. I was going to hook you up with Eugene's family. That's family to me. You ain't going to do. It's not lining up over there, ma'am, as far as what you're saying. No. Um, Angel says, I'm not a fake friend, and I need to know who you are. Again, you should have went on and addressed the problem, but I guess this is going to be addressed when they go on the girls' trip. And then all of a sudden, Quad comes out of nowhere and said, let me get my swing in and start talking to Simone about this VIN number. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about it because this is what's up. All the ladies try to find out stuff on each other. That's period. Do I think that you need to go as far as getting VIN numbers? No. Simone did not, in front of Quad's face, at least at that point, admit that she did look up the VIN number. However, later on, she gets mad at Heavenly for telling her stuff, telling her secrets. Simone, you cannot say that that was a secret. Now, the other stuff about you and Cecil and all that good stuff, that's one thing. But to talk about that was going to be a secret as a VIN number when people already know that you already look up stuff, and you were foolish to try to trust in Heavenly to keep that secret from Quad. You knew you were being messy, so whatever. Yeah, Quad, I don't think that you should really open your mouth because and I quote, how Eugene and Toya bought their last house, not the one they're currently in, is that they had to beg, borrow, and steal in order to get the house they got. And you said that in retaliation after Toya had stuff to say about your house that you got. Simone, if memory serves me correct, you were the one that said, hey, Quad is sleeping with her contractors. You're the one that first brought that out. I think Toya carried that bone. And then it got around the group and all that good stuff. So that was on you. They all look up each other's stuff. Is it poor? I think it was poor taste to try to look up a VIN number, though. I'm sorry. So then they're going back and forth. King already knows her woman and his woman and knows how long it's going to take for a buildup. I don't know what be going on in King and Quad's. I can't say living quarters because they don't live together on their personal time, but obviously they have some explosions over there. And I'm sure production is going to really hone into that later on in the season or next year. But he did a countdown of when Quad is going to blow up. So Simone is still saying that there's a lot of debt that you're in. You're in a lot of debt. How do you know? I'm sorry, you can't be a bullhorn over here. You better give me details and have the receipts, Mariah, and not just sashay across the floor in a skin-tight leather outfit with heels. Bring them. But anyways, I just think that argument is crazy. Contestant wanted a picture with Heavenly and Simone. Simone said, I'm not taking no picture with you, But then next thing you know, which I believe is editing, Heavenly says, sorry that you're having problems at your house or with your man. I at least have a doctor, but you got, I said, Heavenly, why did you say that? And Simone, and I know because of how it was edited. If it wasn't, then we'll just find out a little bit later when I watch Dr. Heavenly on Carlos' show. And then I'll come back and just say you're totally wrong. However, I still think that you're wrong because, look, if you don't want people to use your son against you, when at that moment you and Simone were being vulnerable with each other, I don't think that you should have used that. But then Simone says, well, why are you sitting up here using this type of campaign, as far as being fake, and so that you can't show your real, I don't think that that's true, Simone, but whatever. I'm going on, and I gotta get going. So then Contessa tries to bust everything up, and they're just asking everyone, are you coming on the trip? Are you coming on the trip? So we can handle this. You're kind of annoying right now, but I guess this is your only way to get some camera time and all that good stuff and whatever. So, Angel, as Simone is still ratting it off, still going hard. Bring it, itch. I was like, okay. Angel said, you need to pipe it down. And you need to learn how to conduct yourself. Simone said, did you say anything to Quad and Heavenly? And how that they was and all that, I didn't start it, but I'm going to finish it. Angel said, I'm going to end it. Now, Simone is saying that Angel didn't go to Quad and Heavenly. She did go to Heavenly, to Quad. She did go to Quad. And she was trying to calm her friend Quad down for several minutes. So Simone, I think that at that point, Simone still wanted to carry on while they was over there or whatnot. And that's why Angel had to address Simone. I think Simone should have just stepped outside and gathered herself and then came back in. Then she was like, well, you don't have to invite me anywhere. Da, 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 da. It wasn't like that. It's not that serious, Simone. You just needed to calm yourself down. And I know that you were wound up. So you were still in the wrong as Angel was trying to quiet things down over here and you still going off. Yeah, so that's about it. And now we're going to go on this season, the girls trip, which I don't think is the couples trip. But anyways, I talked too long because I have these notes here. But anyways, y'all tell me what y'all think about everything or anything that you want to discuss. I am putting things on the table. Do I think that Dr. Heavenly was right in everything? No. Do I think the rest of the ladies were right in everything? No. So this isn't, I'm calling out everybody and how that they behaved. If there's more information that Dr. Heavenly's going to give on Carlos's platform, then I'll share that on next week. But that's it. I appreciate everyone for coming. Like, comment, subscribe. And until the next one, peace.